I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Cedar Grove Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be advertised by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on bulletin boards in the district, published and/or transmitted to the Verona Cedar Grove Times and Star Ledger newspapers, filed with the township clerk, and posted on the district's website. May I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Burke?
Here.
Mrs. Dye?
Here.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Here.
Mr. Mandela?
Here.
And Mr. Sakala?
Here. The meeting is open to the public for comment for items that are on the agenda. Seeing none, close that portion of the meeting. And good evening, Board. Do we have any committee reports this evening? You guys been working hard this summer, Mrs. Dye?
Oh, absolutely.
Any meetings that we can hear about? Pickleball, anything?
Yeah, did we miss a rec board meeting or there wasn't one?
No, there wasn't one in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a bit of a break.
And
And pickleball was only a 6-week thing. They hope to bring it back in the fall, though, so.
Okay.
I heard one of our Tap Into members is thinking about pickleball, too. So
Oh,
it'd be great
very
to
good.
expand the number of people who play pickleball.
Okay, so we'll move past the committee reports, and we have no board presentations this evening, so we'll go right to the business of the evening. From the Office of the Business Administrator and Board Secretary, under minutes, may I have a motion for B1 through B4? B1 is a motion to approve the public and executive minutes of June 30th, 2015. B2 is a motion to approve the budgetary transfers for the month of June 2015. B3 is a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of June 2015. And B4 is a motion to approve the board secretary certification to the board pursuant to the administrative code that no line item account has encumbrances and expenditures which exceed the appropriation in violation of the code. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. Under business, may I have a motion for B5 through B13? B5 is a motion to approve Alliance Commercial Pest Control to provide quarterly monitoring as set forth in that item. B6 is a motion to acknowledge that the business administrator/board secretary requested and has reviewed proposals received, which are on file in the board office, from Natural Lawn of America and True Green Commercial for field fertilization and weed control at the high school, middle school, and elementary schools, as set forth in that item. B7 is a resolution that the Cedar Grove Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Negotiations Committee, approves the memorandum of agreement/collective bargaining agreement between the Cedar Grove Board of Education and the Cedar Grove Education Association, including teachers, secretaries, and paraprofessionals, for the term of July 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2017. B8 is a motion to approve payment application number 1 in the amount of $89,917.50 from C.J. Vanderbeek and Sons for the CGHS boiler room upgrades, as set forth in that item. B9 is a motion to approve C.J. Vanderbeek's change order number 1 in the amount of $2,880 to cover the cost of painting at the high school E-wing boiler room, as set forth in that item. B10 is a motion to approve the disposal of the textbooks as listed in that item. B11 is a motion to approve the Cedar Grove Board of Education's participation in the TCPN Cooperative Purchasing Network during the 2015-2016 school year. B12 is a motion to approve the annual contract with Swift Reach 911 at the rate set forth therein. And B13 is a resolution that says, now therefore be it resolved that the Cedar Grove Board of Education, pursuant to the New Jersey statutes, establishes and sets the bid threshold amount of $40,000 for the Board of Education, and to further authorize Renee Tavernier to award contracts in full accordance with the statute for those purchases that do not exceed the aggregate of the newly established bid threshold amount. And that's, just to clarify that, that's to make sure that we have approved Renee, our business administrator, to possess the qualified purchasing agent certificate. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke?
But for B7,
I was just
that's
going
for
to
the
Right.
contract.
I was
How
gonna
do we
ask
want to
as well.
handle that?
I was just going to ask the same
Recuse
thing.
yourself.
Okay.
So-
that how we do it?
Just- Okay.
Yeah, so to Ms. Burke's point, there are 3 members of our board that cannot vote for B7. And at the last meeting, we invoked the doctrine of necessity. So on B7, Mrs. Burke, Mrs. Dye, and Mrs. Marinelli will be recusing themselves, and there will only be a vote on B7 by Mr. Mandela and myself. And because of the doctrine of necessity, that will be enough, even though it's not a quorum, to pass that resolution if it gets two votes. Thank you.
Thank you. So, yes, I recuse myself from B7.
Pay up.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes, and I recuse myself from B7.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye, and I recuse myself from B7.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye. And I, no, I don't. Aye. Aye for everything.
Mr. Sakala?
Yes.
This beeper's going to jump at me.
And Mr. Scala, I'm sorry, did you just say why? I know you said doctrine of necessity, but I know we talked about it at the last board meeting, but maybe for clarity of everybody's here,
Sure,
why we had.
you can, because
So
of
that means go
the,
ahead.
Well, it's not because I don't want to. I
there's
mean,
a-
I would absolutely vote for it if I could.
there's a new ethics opinion that has been issued recently. We talked about it at the last meeting, which makes it impossible for the 3 members who recuse themselves to vote on the contract because they are either members of a union or they have family members who are members of a union. So to be clear, the reason
Of the
why.
NJEA specifically.
The NGA.
Not- Right, NJEA.
Not just-
Right.
okay.
Right, not
And
any union.
so to be clear, it was, the doctrine of necessity was invoked because it was truly necessary for the 3 members to recuse themselves. Good? Thank you. Okay, moving on. May I have a motion for B14 through B20? B14 is a motion to rescind motion B43 from June 30th, 2015, as Essex Valley will not be renewing the lunch service program for the 2015-2016 school year. B15 is a motion to approve C.J. Vanderbeek and Son to clean and ready 14 boilers for the annual state fire inspection. B16 is a motion to retroactively approve Sharp Entertainment to use a Cedar Grove High School parking lot for filming at the usage fee as set forth therein. B17 is a motion to approve check number 1035 in the amount of $4,759.09 for the payment of the Cedar Grove Board of Education second quarter 2015 unemployment deposit. B18 is a motion to approve Bart Pearson and Janine Barboza as the district's affirmative action officers for the 2015-2016 school year. B19 is a motion to approve Degler Whiting's change order number 1 to paint the exposed gym walls where bleachers had been removed as set forth in that item. And B20 is a motion to approve Remy Sparks Production to use the Cedar Grove High School parking lot and front entrance for a film shoot at the usage fee as set forth in that item. May I have a motion for B14 through B20, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just a question. Mr. Featherman, could you just give us an update on the gym? Because I know the last meeting we had, we were kind of unsure whether anything was going to start because of some delays, but it looks like, I guess, we removed bleachers and stuff.
Oh,
So
yes.
is this good news?
It's good news. We're rolling along. We still have the delay that we had talked about last time with the bid process delayed us about a month,
Okay.
but the wall pads are up. Looks great. The bleachers are out. The electrical work's being completed. As you see there, we're painting the walls where the bleachers were. They're just exposed cinder block. We think it's best to cover that up, number one, just going forward. But number two, we're going to be without those bleachers for at least halfway through October. So we thought we'd make it look a little bit nicer. We'll be setting chairs up for volleyball matches and what have you. So we thought, let's clean it up while we have the wall exposed.
Great.
But it's moving right along.
Good. Good deal. Thanks.
Any further comment or questions? May I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. Mr. Featherman, you have a superintendent's report for us this evening?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Sakala. A brief one. It might be premature, Max and others, but Wednesday, September 2nd, would be opening day. So, it's coming. And for you teachers out there and secretaries and everybody else. Extraordinary. Right. Just a reminder, we do have a re-registration project in progress. And so if you have a child that will be in 5th grade or 9th grade this September, you need to re-register with us. We need to get you re-enrolled. Now, the re-enrollment is singular for the family, but if you have more than one child, you do have to fill out paperwork for each of those children. So we sent an email out, I believe, today. You should have received that, just as a gentle reminder. It may apply to someone up here on the dais, but just, again, we won't point anybody out, but in the event you have a 5th grader or 9th grader, please re-register with us.
So if you have an incoming 9th grader and you have an incoming 5th grader next year, does that mean 2 years in a row you would have to do such tests?
No.
Let's see, yes, it does actually. So next year, yes, you'd be re-registering that fit, right. See, why'd you call attention to yourself like that? We would have just kind of,
We have a process in place if they don't register.
and for those of you that have re-registered, we thank you for that. A number of you have already done that, and we appreciate it.
And
I
do
just
we,
wanted to see the process. Does another reminder get sent out? And yes, it did, and I received it today,
Absolutely.
so that's great. The system's working fantastically.
Chances are you'll receive another reminder in about 5 days' time. You and the rest of those
is
that
there,
pertains
do
to.
we have, if they do not register, does it prevent them from starting school? Or what is the,
Well, we're going to be reasonable about it. We're going to be reaching out by phone and email to those folks, and we'll get them.
Okay.
We'll track them down. But we will be reasonable about it.
That's good.
Right. To some folks, we'll be reasonable.
yeah, but if they don't, that means there's a red flag and we should be,
Right.
yeah, okay.
I mean, after a reasonable amount of time, I'm not going to put a number on that, but after a reasonable amount of time, we will then, pursue you further. We will find you in the food town. We will,
Yes.
we will hunt you down.
Great.
Or
Thank
just
you.
look here on Tuesday night.
Right.
Right. Wow, this report's getting longer and longer, Mr. Sakala.
When's the next meeting?
August 25th, right?
Okay.
Right. So I just want to talk briefly about program and curricular updates. The K-5 Language Arts project has been complete. Thanks to all of you for your support and patience. It's really been an amazing process to see it all come together. So the new reading series is, of course, in place. The K-5 curriculum has been written, and we're excited about that. On the heels of that, we have the K-5 mathematics curriculum project going on. It's currently underway. Our teachers were trained in May and in June on the new math series entitled Go Math. So it was an exciting way to end the year and sort of help transition us to the new school year. So by the end of, or at least the middle of the next school year, we will have a new language arts and a new mathematics curriculum K-5. Full induction with our staff and full implementation. So we're excited about that. And that, of course, trickles into CUSAC. We're looking to complete that project at the end of the 15-16 school year. And to get our marks back from the CUSAC monitoring team, we're pretty confident that we'll be in good shape at that point. We have Performance Matters training for 2 days, August 2021. So myself, our leadership team, and 16 teachers district-wide will be trained for 2 days on the new Performance Matter platform. We're excited to do that later this month. August 18th, I thought this was worth mentioning. A group of kids from the Random Acts of Kindness Club will be visiting the News 12 studios in Edison for a sit-down with those folks. So August 18th, tune into News 12. Quick facilities update, as we had mentioned, the bleacher project is progressing nicely. The boiler room project is progressing equally as nicely. They're currently painting the ceiling, the walls, and will be applying an epoxy paint to the floor. It looks great. So that old boiler is gone, and it's really cleaned up nicely. We're in good shape moving forward. I met the other day with the Orange Mountain Energy Company. We'll talk more about that. I've invited them in on August 25th, along with Robert and our engineer. They will talk about the referendum projects, but the Orange Mountain Group will discuss with us, as has been the board's want for years, solar panels. So we'll have a group here next meeting to talk a little bit about that as well. And lastly, but not leastly, the pre-construction meetings are ongoing. And as I said, we're excited to meet with the engineer and Robert Donahue next meeting to talk more in detail about those plans. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Featherman. Okay, under personnel, may I have a motion for S1 through S14? S1 is a motion to approve the superintendent's report. S2 is a motion to approve Diane Palmieri, South End School first grade maternity leave replacement teacher, as set forth in that item. S3 is a motion to approve Sean Sweeney, freshman girls volleyball coach, at step 1, as set forth therein. S4 is to retroactively approve the resignation of Jamie Karansky, school psychologist, effective June 30th, 2015. S5 is a motion to accept the resignation of Justin Carrazza, assistant boys soccer coach, for the upcoming school year. S6 is a motion to approve the resignation of Lisa Blackman, high school school counselor, effective August 25th, 2015. S7 is a motion to retroactively approve, Patrick Marciano, substitute custodian, at $11.25 per hour, as set forth in that item. S8 is a motion to approve Nicholas Santarelli, substitute custodian, as set forth in that item. S9 is a motion to approve the revised job description for the high school vice principal, making him 10 months plus 10 days for the upcoming school year. S10 is a motion to approve the revised job description for the high school supervisory subject area leader, K-12, health, phys ed, driver's education, making them 10 months plus 10 days for the 2015-2016 school year. S11 is a motion to approve the job description of the substitute secretary for the Cedar Grove School District for the upcoming school year. S12 is a motion to retroactively approve Tracy Comerford for the summer 2015 extended school year program, running at the date set forth in that item. S13 is a motion to approve Dana Pochowski to provide supplemental summer instruction for the student as listed therein, per the IEP rate as set forth in that item. And S14 is a motion to approve Beth LeGras to provide supplemental summer instruction for the student as set forth there, for actually 2 students set forth therein, at the IEP rate as set forth in S14. May I have a motion, please, for those items?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a comment. I'm just being technical here. I'm going to vote for S1. However, since we don't have a written copy and we didn't read anything, I'm doing it based on your verbal report, not based on a written report. So I just wanted to put that on record. I'm just pulling a technicality. Because, you might have a line in there that you're sneaking in on that report that
Right, it could say that.
It could say that, yeah, if you saw what Laura wrote, it could say that. It would be pretty good. I would still vote yes if Laura wrote that, because it's true.
Yeah, we only do superintendent's reports traditionally. The second
I know,
meeting
I was
month.
kind of
I
surprised.
thought I'd throw a verbal in there just to sort of get people up.
No, that's good.
No,
That's
absolutely
great.
appreciate the
No, that's awesome.
So why don't we amend S1 as a motion to approve the verbal superintendent's report that was delivered to the board
Yeah, that's
at
good.
this board meeting?
Okay, that's great.
Got that, Board Secretary? Thank you.
We'll show you the comment later that you could have snuck in there. Yeah.
We're all in agreement, so you have a majority right here.
I love this board.
Excuse me.
Bless.
Roll call, please. Thank you.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
I recuse myself from S14, but yes to all the others.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. May I have a motion for S15 through let's see where we are here, 27? S15 is a motion to approve Jeremy Lugameno to provide supplemental assistance technology instruction for the students set forth therein at the IEP rate as set forth in that item. S16 is a motion to rescind the stipend positions that are set forth in S16. S17 is a motion to approve the employees for prorated substitute lunch stipends as set forth in that item. S18 is a motion to approve Kristen R. Luna for morning care supervision for the upcoming school year at South End School. S19 is a motion to retroactively reimburse summer custodians for fingerprinting as set forth in that item. S20 is a motion to approve the 2015-2016 lunch aids at the rate set forth therein, and they are listed in that item. S21 is a motion to approve the substitute teachers for 2015-2016 as set forth in that item. S22 is a motion to approve substitute secretaries for 2015-2016 school year as set forth in that item for the rate set forth therein. S23 is a motion to approve the substitute nurses for the upcoming school year as set forth in that item. S24 is a motion to reimburse the school-based volunteers as set forth therein. S25 is a motion to approve as school volunteers the people who are listed in S25. S26 is a motion to authorize attendance at the events as set forth therein, along with the costs that are all set forth therein. And S27 is a motion to approve the student listed therein for classroom observation. May I have a roll call, a motion for those items?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. Under contracts, may I have a motion for S28 through S30? S28 is a motion to approve the contracts for the upcoming school year as set forth in that item. S29 is a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Ramapo College School of New Jersey Nursing Program and the Cedar Grove Board of Education for the 2015-2016 school year. And S30 is a motion to approve the contract for the Essex Regional Services Commission to administer the non-public school technology initiative program 2015-2016 school year. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. At this time, the meeting is open to the public for comment for items that are on or off the agenda. Ms. Coakley? Yeah, yes, you did.
Wow, you're actually speaking tonight?
I'm Jennifer Coakley, 23 Donato Drive. I just had a question regarding S12 through S15. I just wanted to clarify, the IEP rate, is that something different than curriculum rate? Because curriculum rate is, will that be retroactive to the newly negotiated amount of $35?
Not necessarily. We will be glad to have that conversation, but not necessarily is the answer.
Is that typically, though, curriculum rate?
I think that needs to be talked through, because when we investigated that very question, there didn't seem to be an apparent answer.
Okay. Is IEP rate in our current contract, though?
The curriculum rate is in the current contract.
Okay.
And other than that, the contract is silent on rates of pay for other activities such as IEP writing. So I think we need to have that conversation. I don't want to say one way or the other, because personally, I'm open to that discussion.
Okay.
Any further comment? Step on up to the microphone, please.
But wait, can I ask a follow-up, though, to that question?
Yeah,
Is
go ahead.
this student on, it's not home instruction?
It's not just that, though, it's the few. It's from S12 to S15. So
Oh, I was looking at S15, sorry.
It's all,
Typically, in the past, any kind of curriculum writing or home instruction or any of those items have been based on curriculum rate. I've just never seen this terminology, IEP rate. Typically, anything that's done based on curriculum or home instruction, before.
Oh, it's as per their
all of those-
IEP at the rate of.
Right.
It's home
But
it'd be summer
typically,
instruction.
all of those things are based on the curriculum rate, which we just recently negotiated an increase.
In home instruction? At home instruction
Everything
was
is
the,
always based on our curriculum rate.
oh.
So,
does the contract say that?
yes.
And it's past practice, that's been past practice.
Yes, we've been doing that forever. It's always been based. So before care, because it's a half hour, is half of the curriculum rate.
I got you, okay.
So all of those.
So home
typical
things, so it
Home instruction has
addresses
always been based
home
on the curriculum
instruction?
rate.
The contract addresses home instruction? It does, okay. All right, I don't remember that, okay.
Let's have that.
I'm Kelly Lombardi. I live at 15 Donato Drive. I have,
Can you,
yeah, it's a little high.
you can take it off.
Frank, you gotta twist the bottom.
There, thank you.
You can just repeat it.
All right, thank you. I'm Kelly Lombardi. I live at 15 Donato Drive. I actually wrote things out because I have a couple points I need to make. I didn't want to miss anything. So if you don't mind, if I just go ahead and read this.
If you could just
Sure.
tell them there, that's for the community,
Okay.
not for us.
Okay, thanks. I'm a lifelong resident of Cedar Grove, as is my husband. In fact, my mother was on the school board many years ago, so thank you for everything that you do. We have 3 children in the school system, one at North End, one at the middle school, and one entering high school this year. So yes, I am doing our, what was that? The re-registration, yes, working on that.
See, working on that, by the way. Notice.
It's like renewing your license or something. The issue I'd like to bring to your attention tonight is the lack of busing for our high school students. We live on Donato Drive, like I said. If you're not familiar with Donato Drive, it's one of the 2 neighborhoods that's off of Montclair Ave. We're very close to Little Falls, in fact. In speaking with our neighbors recently, it came to my attention that the middle school children do not continue to be able to ride the bus once they move on to the high school. This didn't make any sense to me at first because I was like, well, the high school and the middle school are not that far apart on Ridge Road. Then it was explained to me that it is based on that busing for K through 8 is 2 miles, a distance of 2 miles, and that busing for 9 to 12 is 2.5 miles. I called the board office to confirm this and was told, the exact same information, and that this was the state of New Jersey's requirement for the courtesy busing. Then I was told that if I would like my high schooler bus, that I would have to pay $80 a month, which equates to $800 a year for that option. Now, this is the same bus that he was able to ride last year at no cost, and that stops and picks up our middle schooler in front of our house and does make a stop at the high school. Let's see. Now, mind you, I'm all for children walking to and from school. Like I said, I grew up in town, so did my husband. We were both walkers. I walked to my parents' house or my grandparents' house every day. My husband walked home to his house every day. So this is not an issue about walking, definitely not. It's more of an issue of safety. Not the length, not the hills, not the, not the distance or the time. It's really just an unsafe walk. I decided that I would take the walk myself. I enlisted a family member to walk it with me, and I would not want to do this again. It was not a fun walk. It was not pleasant. It was a little nerve-wracking, and I will explain to you why. I actually took pictures of the walk, and I jotted down some notes pertaining to all the spots along the walk that were of great concern to me. Picture number 1, you have to cross Route 23 in front of Myrtle Ave. Not a big issue in and of itself, but the reason for having to cross there is that if you were to continue on the same side of 23 as the rescue squad and continue up, there are no sidewalks once you get past Bordick Road. So you have to cross at Myrtle Ave to continue on the walk. Then you need to go past the VFW. Now the VFW is a huge concern because in the winter, now that the VFW is abandoned, nobody shovels that. It's not shoveled. They carve out from the snow right in front of the bus stop, but that's it. So, and there's no safe place for them to cross as an alternate because on the opposite side, there is no sidewalk on the other side of 23. So you're forced to walk in front of the VFW through the snow. There's a triangle there in that area. If you were to try to cross it, you cross over to a grassy area in front of the Presbyterian Church. There's no sidewalk. Then there's a triangle on Commerce Road, which is very dangerous because obviously there's 18-wheelers and trucks and things making deliveries down to Commerce. And that triangle does not have a sidewalk across it. And in the winter, it gets piled up with snow, and you have to walk around it in the road. So that was another concern. Then, so you would have to continue on past the VFW. When you get to Stevens by the CVS, you'd have to cross in front of the CVS. Because there are no sidewalks, you couldn't continue on that side of 23 because from the Macedonian Church all the way down to East Lindsley, there are no continuous sidewalks. So you're forced to cross again at Stevens Ave. The problem with this is that there's a lot of cars making a right turn on Stevens. They do not slow down. They're turning to go down Stevens and they're turning to enter CVS. From there, you'd have to cross Stevens, which anybody who has a student at North End knows, there's that triangle there in the middle of Stevens. It's ridiculously dangerous. There is no sidewalk crossing that, so same thing in the winter when there's snow, you have to walk around it, and there's 3 lanes of traffic. You have 2 lanes making a left, and you have that steep lane where they make the right onto Pompton. So again, very dangerous, especially in bad weather. So now you would continue down past the apartment buildings. Then you would need to cross again because there is no sidewalk from East Lindsley to Montclair Ave. So you would need to cross at East Lindsley, which is also dangerous because, again, it's just a very busy intersection. Anybody that sits there, people are flying down Mountain Road. People are turning right on red. It's just a disaster over there. And in the winter when they plow, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes sitting at that light, they do not plow all the way to the curb. There could be 5 feet, 8 feet of snow sticking out into the street. And I've seen the employees from the nursing home there having to wait out in the street to be able to cross at the light. It's really just a dangerous situation. For adults, I can't even imagine children having to do it. So then you could continue down 23 more, and then you'd have to cross the light at Montclair Ave to get down into our neighborhoods, the surrounding neighborhoods. That is a total of 4 times that the high schoolers have to cross 23. I mean, it's a 4-lane highway. It's just not safe. So like I said, my concern is purely safety. I couldn't imagine doing this walk with backpack and school projects and sports equipment and musical instruments and trying to concentrate on what's going on with the traffic around you, impatient drivers, as we all know. I mean, there's accidents all the time on 23. There's speeding cars. We see the police pulling people over constantly, as they should. And there are also no crossing guards the entire length of this walk. During the winter, when the sidewalks are covered in snow or icy, it becomes very treacherous, even more so. And not just the VFW, but if other businesses don't clear their sidewalks quickly, there's also a lot of treacherous sidewalks, that they could have to cross as well. Let's see. Now, this was the walk that I took, and it was the safest walk only because it kept you on the sidewalk the whole time. But not, as we all know, not all kids are going to do that. They're going to try to, not want to wait for that long light, so they're going to walk where there's no sidewalk. It's just a really dangerous situation. So I've talked to my neighbors at length about it, and they might also have something to add as well. And I've also talked to other families in town, and they're shocked when they find out that the bus that they've become accustomed to for their middle schoolers is not going to be available in high school. The $800 a year charge is just really not acceptable when you consider that the buses are already stopping in our neighborhoods and stopping at the high school. It's just an added expense, you know, for families whose only mistake is living on the far end of town. And I just feel that if it's unsafe for the middle schoolers, then it's also unsafe for the high schoolers. I understand that it is the state requirement. The state says that they have to bus from 2 miles for the I'm forgetting, 8th grade and under, and 2.5 miles for the high schoolers, but that's the state minimum. And I feel like a town such as Cedar Grove, where we place such a high value on their education and their academics and their extracurriculars, I feel like we should also place that high priority on their safety. And it really is an unsafe walk, and if you want to walk it, I invite you to do so, but I don't recommend it. It's really unpleasant. There's 18-wheelers flying by, construction vehicles. It's not safe at all. So, as concerned parents, we're asking that you take the courtesy busing 2-mile distance that applies to the middle schoolers and amend that to also include the high schoolers. We understand that it's New Jersey's minimum requirement, but that's exactly what it is. It's a minimum requirement. And there's no reason why we can't raise the bar for that. A town such as Cedar Grove, should also place a high standard on their safety. We do have a 4-lane state highway going through the middle of our town, and we're just asking that you don't put a price on our kids' safety. And I'm sure that my neighbors would probably have something to add or answer any questions that you might have about my walk through town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm talkative today. Jennifer Coakley again. I'm her neighbor, and my son is in 7th grade now, so going into 8th grade, so I have another year before this hits. But in doing the MapQuest, you're also talking, I just wanted to clarify, we're talking about 2.36 miles away from the school and 2.4 miles away from the school. So we're talking about 1/10 of a mile or 1/14 of a mile away from that guideline. And like she said, there are no crossing guards. I don't know how a child could even be expected to do this, but also of a concern, even if we were able to get our kids to school, I know for my situation, I teach right in town, but I still don't get out till 30 minutes after he gets out, which means he's going to be hanging around the high school, which nobody wants kids hanging around the high school, but he's going to be hanging around the high school for 40 minutes if I have a staff meeting, 45 minutes, an hour, waiting for me to come pick him up, or he's going to have to walk home by himself. So we're just really asking that it's not affecting a great amount of kids because we are on the very tail end of that guideline, but we have other neighbors who are affected, and like she said, literally my daughter will be getting picked up at that exact same spot. Her bus will be stopping at the high school and then bringing her to middle school, but he can't get on the bus.
Yeah, that was my
Because
question.
the same
Why does
bus,
it stop, right?
the same bus takes the middle schoolers and the high schoolers. It does the same route. So the bus that my children are on now, right in the middle school, high schoolers that are able to, that are beyond, that still come to our bus stop. So they're still making that exact same stop, and there's room on the bus. So they're going to literally leave my kid on the street.
So there are
My daughter, there are high schoolers because they live a little bit beyond. They're making those stops anyway, and they're just not allowing 5 or 6 children on that bus, even though they're making it. You're not expected to get another bus. It wouldn't involve another bus driver. It wouldn't involve additional stops. That bus is already making all of those stops. It's just allowing a 14-year-old on the bus to get to school.
That makes it a lot clearer.
To be honest with you, this is the first time I've ever heard of this. Thank you for bringing it. Yeah, no, thank you for bringing it to our attention, the board's attention, because I've been on 9 years now, and this is the first time. And you're not obviously the first families that have kids in that area, so never. never. So I thank you for bringing that up to the board, and I think it is something, I mean, in my opinion, we should just look at and talk, to administration about and just have a discussion. So I thank you for,
Crossing guards all over this end of town, every corner.
But there aren't any crossing guards along that walk?
One crossing guard in the town ever.
wow.
Is there like a,
Except for right in front of North End School.
right, right,
Crossing guard
right,
and
right.
that's only right in front of North End School. There isn't even one at the top of Stevens or at the bottom by Lindsley. Yeah, Lindsley at the corner of Lindsley and Stevens.
No, there's somebody there. There's somebody there, yeah.
But that's the only, but that wouldn't even be their route.
I think the distance issue covers a bigger group of community members other than you, because I think it even affects people on Stevens. So I think what we need to make
No,
sure
we
we
just
do
need
is
to discuss it.
quantify.
No,
Yeah, so that we understand.
it definitely
Right.
warrants
Yeah.
a discussion
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
more
absolutely.
looking into. So I thank you for bringing this up. I mean, we can't give you an answer tonight.
That 2.5,
For the difference between 2 and 2.5.
if you actually
Right.
took the actual walking, because of the many crossings over Route 23, if you measured all of that, I think you would get to 2.5 in that one.
But it could also open up a lot of other people that are within the 2 that live up that way that couldn't walk to school either.
No,
Because
but-
of
but
all
then-
those same
but-
crossings.
Right, but it's the 2 miles where the middle schoolers,
They
2
would've-
plus.
No, I
those
understand.
middle
I
Right.
understand, yes.
They wouldn't have been getting the bus.
They wouldn't
Right,
be
no,
getting
no,
the-
I
yeah.
understand. No, but, right, absolutely.
Yeah, like the,
Getting
like,
the bus to
right.
the middle school.
Right.
his sister can jump on the bus and
Right,
wave. and
no,
then
I
he's-
understand, right.
You're walking next
Right.
year.
All of those same
Right.
bus stops.
Right.
They're already, the bus driver's already making those stops.
Right, right.
With plenty of room on the bus for these kids, and it is a safety issue.
No, I really appreciate you bringing it up. Especially seeing those pictures.
It's not walkable.
No, it's
No, and you know what, that's a very good, that you walked
An
it.
example, right, right, she did it, right.
Yes. I mean, it's one thing to say, I drive it and I see it, but to actually walk it, thank you for that, because it's,
It's perspective.
yeah,
I walked all over the place, and that was a horrible walk.
We
yeah.
walked to CBS the other weekend, which is a short walk, and it was so
crazy.
awful. I wouldn't let us walk back the same way. We had to take the, circuitous route.
School because.
And I wouldn't want my kids or any kids walking on that route. It really is not friendly for anyone to be walking.
No,
Thank
so
you.
thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We'll take it under advisement. We'll take a closer look at the amount of students it would affect and cost and all of that, and the board will discuss it amongst ourselves.
Yeah, if I'd like to just, if we could, maybe, I know we have a lot going on, but maybe before our next meeting, have some kind of discussion before then to see, because the school year will start right after that. So,
Just to know how many students
Yeah.
it is that lose the privilege.
yeah,
Like
to see
this
what
year,
we,
how many
yeah,
students?
to see
And
what
it's-
it affect.
Right.
Because,
Ninth
my
through
recommendation,
12th grade.
if it's not going to affect, where my way of thinking, where I'm thinking right now is if we can at least start the school year and we do not have to incur costs of another bus,
Right.
then I'd say let's do it and then take further then it'll give us a longer time to look into it. So at least we have an immediate,
We also have to
Temporary
find out if
a temporary fix, that's it.
we also have to find out if the $80 per month cost is just the cost that the bus company is passing off to us, and they're charging us regardless there's another bus or not. Because if it's $80,
Right,
they
is it
may-
based on per student,
Right.
or like, do we just have the bus?
We need to
Right.
get all
We
that
need to get all the
information.
Oh, I
And
didn't
we-
even think of that. That's a good point. I didn't even think of
Because
that.
if it's, per student, $80 per month, $800 a year, and we have another,
Right, so we have to find out if that's,
You know,
if it's a
30
bus
students.
policy or-
No, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that point. I didn't
we
know
don't
that they
know.
charge that
we don't know,
rate.
that, we need to find that out. I don't, sitting here, I don't think any of us know exactly how the contract works, so we're ask Ms. Tavernier to take a look at it.
No, so
and
that's why
provide
if we
the
could do
board-
something by August 25th,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Is that possible, Ms. Tavernier, to have some information regarding?
Yes.
Okay.
By the August 25th.
We would like to know that the amount of students it would affect if we kept it at 2 miles, and the cost to the board per student that would stay on the bus and get dropped off at the high school.
If it's a per student.
Well, there's gotta be some
right,
cost.
Right.
I mean, I don't know where the $80 per month comes from. There's
Right.
gotta be, I'm sure that's not a revenue generator that we're doing. It's something that was, the bus company was charging us. So, let's find that out. And if you can get us that information in advance of the next meeting, so we can discuss it, that'd be great. Good?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll close that portion of the meeting. And may I have a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the items under E2, which is a personnel matter relative to candidates for employment. Action may follow the discussion in executive session. Public release of the discussion will occur upon completion of any contracts. And a personnel matter relative to the administrative collective bargaining agreement. Action is not expected to follow the discussion in executive session. Due to the confidentiality of personnel matters, public release of this discussion will probably never occur. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
May I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mr. Mandela?
Aye.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes, and before I adjourn the meeting, I should have made the announcements of our future meetings. August 25th, 2015, at the North End Media Center, 7 o'clock p.m. for executive session, 8 o'clock for regular meeting, followed by our first September meeting in the Media Center right here, 7 p.m. executive session on September 15th, 2015, with the 8 p.m. regular meeting start. This meeting is adjourned.